My boyfriend forged his Harvard application. He lied and said he was gay to get accepted. Should I break up with him? This is OKOP, where we read the craziest true stories on Earth. I'm John, and big producer Riley. Do we think this is an offense that should warrant a breakup? It's pretty crazy.
This is very crazy. I think it would have to warrant one. On paper, he's gay, but if he has to like show that he's gay.
What happens? What happens when you have to prove? You have to prove what you put down. We need receipts.
We need receipts.
How do they verify?
How do they verify
That's
this?
the question. My goodness. Wow. Well, Riley, there's only one way to find out. Spill that tea. So, choice evidence 1983 says, my 21 female, boyfriend 20 male wants to lie in his law school applications about how he's gay. My boyfriend's Asian American. He's had a very high pressure and I'm pretty sure physically abusive childhood where his parents wanted him to go to an Ivy League university at all costs.
Oh.
That's not good, right?
I like that.
Riley doesn't like it. Let it be known. He didn't get into any and believes this is primarily due to his race and not his merits. Because of this, he thinks it's completely acceptable to lie on applications if merit isn't the primary factor anyways. His parents have continued to put pressure onto him to either get a prestigious job or to go to a prestigious school for grad school. And really quick, I'm very curious if you could look up, Riley, percentage of maybe Asian Americans applying to universities versus white Americans. He seems to still want to please them. His application for law school is very good. Our university advisors think he's got a good chance at getting into a top 10 law school. He wants to get into the top 5, however, and suggested to me that he pretends that he's gay. He's bi, not openly, but definitely not gay. We are dating. I said no, and after an argument, told him that I will break up with him to pretend he's gay if that's how he wants to do it. So basically, I think delivering little sass and being like, I don't want to be a part of this. My parents think I was too harsh. How should I deal with this? We got to take a really quick pit stop at the top of the story because
that's
we just
a lot.
Got a lot. What did we get any stats?
So the stats for like Asian Americans is roughly 20 to 25% in Ivy League schools. And then for like white kids, I guess it's like between 40 and like 35%.
Interesting, because I wanted to look it up because I feel like I've seen like headlines or something of like Asian Americans being turned away either from jobs. There was actually like a big case while I was in Silicon Valley of people suing a company because like in the makeup of the employees, like Asians were like over indexing so much that they're like, we want to diversify and give opportunities for other people.
Wow.
Not just Asians. So I haven't really like dug into it, which is why I wanted to do a little bit of quick research. But yeah, it seems like in certain cases, there's been this thing of like so many Asians in a particular thing that some of these organizations are maybe trying to be like, hey, we need to like try to get other people and potentially limit the amount of Asian people getting it, which I think is what the boyfriend is like trying to, or like is thinking with all of this, which is like a wild thing. And then also he's bi. I'm like, why not just put that on the application?
Yeah.
If he's trying to kind of like use it to like to his advantage, which like, hey dude, go get yours. And if he's actually bi, why not just put that on it?
Why do you have to be like full on gay?
Like, why did he have to just like full throttle? I don't know. Which also like it's.
Aren't you still part of the LGBT community?
You're still part of the community, and I would argue, you know, it's all a spectrum. So I'm like, maybe the girlfriend is being a little bit too harsh in that he actually is. It would be one thing if this was like super duper straight man and you're just like, yo, I'm gay, I'm getting into this school because I'm gay. Like, but if he's already bi, that to me is like he's part of the community. He's on the sexuality spectrum. You know, he is. You know, he's not just like cis straight male. So I don't know, dude. I feel like he could put that and be totally cool, and also like he
says he's bi, not openly though. Maybe he has to like spread his wings a little bit, show out.
Maybe, but I'm like, to me, I'm like, this is I mean, my parents never saw my college application. Like, I feel like if he was like worried about his parents finding out,
oh
then,
yeah, I see.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he could put it on the application and probably be okay, unless the parents got together as a parent-teacher conference. I don't know, but I was just so flabbergasted with all of that insane information at the outset. I had to.
Yeah, I thought at first he was trying
to
get like a scholarship or something like that,
right?
And like he would have to pretend to be something else that he's not, and then have to
get
be a
into
part of
the
that
scholarship
community,
yeah,
and like do like a whole whatever just to.
He's just trying to get in.
Oh,
period.
Wow.
Period. Trying to get in, but like we're talking top 5, like the Harvards, the Stanfords, like the top 5 Ivy League is like the hardest schools to get into on like planet Earth, basically. So Riley, let's keep reading. This is crazy. My boyfriend believes he was a more qualified applicant than everyone else in his class, but he didn't get into any Ivy Leagues, including a case where he and his best friend at the time, a girl, were waitlisted together on one of them. She was called for the waitlist and told him it was definitely because of her race, white, gender, and because her family was able to pay full tuition, whereas his wasn't able to pay really anything. She offered to decline it for him so he could go instead, but he refused. Okay, God, I gotta stop super quick again. So it's seeming like at least part of where his thought on like, oh, I'm getting denied from my race is because he had a classmate who was white who got in from the wait list.
White and female, basically like the opposite spectrum.
And she's able to pay in full, and he can't pay much, if anything. Wow, my God. Quick edit. I didn't write that last part clearly enough. It wasn't literally a trade and opportunity offered by the university, but there were only 2 students from that school, as far as they knew, to be waitlisted. The school was the largest in the geographic area, so they thought that he was next in line due to being a more qualified applicant on the objective stats, but less favorable in other areas. Obviously, we'll know since he told her not to turn down the offer. Also insane that she wouldn't have been the a-hole in the slightest if she took it, you know, because it's like, I mean, it's on the school ultimately to like bring in the people that they should be bringing in. But like, what an offer from her. Like she's the angel here. My goodness.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's done extremely well for himself in college, unless he really F's up the interview, and he's gone to several mock interviews on the off chance. That's why he didn't get into any of the Ivy Leagues and passed with flying colors. He's practically guaranteed a spot at the top 40 law school at our university, in-state privilege, and our pre-law advisors told him that he's got a great chance at the top 10. He doesn't believe they're being completely honest. However, he's not interested in the top 10. He is interested in the top 5. I think it's because of his mom primarily, who I know calls him every 3 days and seems to barely ask about his life and instead asks about the status of his application, where he's thinking of applying, etc. He actually really loves his mom and says that she was nice to him, but from what he's told me, she was just not as bad as his dad. Lesser of two evil. Oh, that's bad. It makes me sick to my stomach to realize that after everything he's done and went through, he still wants the approval of his parents. After a particularly long call yesterday, he seemed thoughtful and distracted for most of the night, and then he came back to me today to ask if I'd be okay with him taking pictures of me off of his social media, and I edit/delete captions with certain pictures to make it seem like we're just friends, not dating.
Ooh.
Okay. You know, again, I think he should have just put that he's bi on the application. Like, that's just a no-brainer. Tell the truth, what you literally are. But this is like, I think probably where it's poking OP's sore spot even more, because he's like, yo, let's pretend we're not in a relationship so that way I can, you know, say that I'm fully gay, not interested in women. Like, I could see why this would doubly, triply piss her off right here. I asked why, and he said he thinks the best move for him is to say that he's gay on his application. He showed me some drafts to the personal essay questions that he wrote up about being gay. God. They're all really insightful and everything, but it's not completely true and authentic to his life. The crazy thing is that he is bisexual. He doesn't tell almost anyone because he's afraid his parents will disown him if they found out, but he reluctantly showed me pictures of his ex-boyfriend from our freshman year of college when we were talking about our exes. I asked him why he doesn't just say that, because that's actually true. A great question. He laughed and said, nobody will care about that. Wow. And then went into into an explanation of how the epistemic, what does that mean? Epistemic.
What? Epistemic contract of bisexual is the tendency to ignore, remove, falsely, or re-explain evidence of bisexuality in history, academia, the news, and other primary sources. Oh, it seems like this is what he went into about his like application or essay or whatever.
The epistemic contract of bisexual erasure. So that's like is that like an article or something?
So it's basically like in history, I guess it is an article, but in history, like people will erase like, oh, this leader wasn't actually gay. Or
right.
Like this
it's like bisexual. So it's just enough to like, they can like ignore or like remove the fact that they were bisexual.
He had one fling with the guy, but he's actually had many wives.
Right.
So like,
okay.
they just
got
erased
it.
the whole fling with the guy thing.
And that actually kind of made sense. I actually don't care about taking down social media posts or whatever. It's only temporary. And even if it's not for whatever reason, we'll still have those pictures. But the reasoning is what I don't like. So I told him point blank that I wanted to support him as much as I could, but I wouldn't do it for his quote unquote outdated need to please his parents. We argued for a bit until I just said that I'd be happy to pretend he's gay by breaking up with him, but nothing in between. Ooh, I don't know if she's joking or like half joking.
Yeah.
Or basically being like, listen, you want to be gay? Fine. I'll break up with you. That'll be so much easier, won't it? That's the vibe that I'm picking up, but kind of hard to tell.
Oh.
He looked hurt by that and said that we should go back home. We don't live together and think about it again. Wow. I told my parents who love him, and they actually surprisingly seemed torn about whether lying about being gay was really that bad. But they did agree that threatening to break up with him was too far. I was completely floored by this. So now I'm turning to the internet.
You guys.
And us. I know playing up things you did is a standard part of applications, but this seems too far. If it's not too far though, then yeah, I crossed a line by threatening to break up. What do you think?
Wow, this is a lot to break down.
Jeez, this is a scenario for old John and Big Protein to break down solo. But let's dive into it. And right after, we got some relevant comments too.
Yes.
But
how are you feeling, man?
Oh man, this is kind of a hard one. Like OP's point and his whole thing about the like erasure of like, basically it seems like the like marketing of bisexual and like being able to like so easily dismiss it has made it like kind of a non-factor on the application, which is so sad that these things just become that on an application, but I'll put that to the side for now.
So think about it from OP's boyfriend's point of view. Like, this is a life-changing opportunity to get into a school.
100%.
I don't know what kind of career he's thinking about doing, but like lawyer, doctor, big money.
Changes family's life forever.
Changes his family's life forever. And if you think about this relationship that he's having with OP, like people have girlfriends right before they go to college. They usually don't last. Like hate to say it, she might be the one.
Yeah.
But like long term,
yes,
this seems like the thing to do to best benefit him. It sucks.
Yes.
But if he really wants to take this serious and he feels like this is the only opportunity.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm reading.
I think it's kind of hard to blame him. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but it's like, it's hard to blame the dude.
Yeah.
In all honesty, because they're almost in a way kind of like dangling the carrot of like unintentionally, but it's this like, it's the perversion of the actual intended goal where it's like, okay, if I just like stretch the truth a little bit on this part about myself, then that'll help me change my life and whatever my family and whoever's life forever.
Yeah.
Right. But I also totally see what OP's saying about like, ultimately he's just doing this to impress his parents. Like, I wonder truly in his core if like he even really cares about getting into this top 5 university beyond, like OP said, like he has his pick on any of the top 40 and probably the top 10.
Oh, see, that's my thing too. He can definitely get into the top 10.
Yeah.
I just want to know what his passion is. Like, how bad does he actually want it?
Yeah.
Like, if he's like, I want to be a doctor and do this, this, and this, then you have to be like, okay, what are you willing to sacrifice?
Yeah.
But I feel like he can go to a top 10 school, get a doctor be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever he wants to do, and still have the same amount of money he would have even if he went to a top 5. Maybe a little different, but he would be living comfortably for sure.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, and this is just like a more of a outsider's view, is I feel like a Harvard today is maybe still worth it, but maybe like the number 10 school. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Just because of the like Harvard, Stanford, like the brand is so strong.
Okay, yeah.
Of like, you know what I mean? Like it's like number 1, number 2,
go Jack.
Go Jack. Yeah. Shout out if you watch the Bali episodes, you know what we're talking about. But ultimately, I think like if we want to go back to the boyfriend's self-interest,
yeah,
I think what'll happen here is this could come back in the future to bite him.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Like if anyone ever found out that he lied to get that on his application to get in, his career might be ruined. Whereas if he simply honestly shares his experience being a bisexual man and having also say that you have to hide it from your parents, tell your story.
Yeah.
Like that to me, I think would resonate with somebody who's looking through applications and like connects with them versus like him like basically lying and being like, I'm gay and like deleting all of it. That part's so funny and crazy.
I definitely see that point. But it's like, it's really like,
it's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
It really is. So guys, put in the comments, do you think the boyfriend should just go for it and stretch the truth to get in
to the top 5?
Put it in the comments below. We're a little stuck. I think we're a little stuck on this one, but we got some relevant comments that maybe will shed some light. So this comes from Everything is Salsa. The bottom line is that your boyfriend asked you to lie about something you weren't comfortable about lying about. That's a good point. You said no. You get to do that. A good partner won't pressure you to do something that you don't think is right. I don't think it really matters whether his lie is objectively morally right or a good idea. There are intersection marginalities here that would require a lot to unpack. There's also a lot that goes into the risk reward decision of lying on the law school application, kind of like we talked about.
It's law school. Dude, that changes.
Yeah,
a
it
lot.
kind of does, dude. They be looking at them things, bro. They kind of look for lies. You didn't want to participate, so you set a boundary and offered him an out. I think you should continue to stand your ground and stay true to what you think is right here. OP, realistically, he didn't actually need to tell me anything. He could have just privated his accounts, and that would have been good enough for the purpose of any admissions committee looking up his social media, unless they somehow and for whatever reason tracked me down too. Extremely unlikely. The only thing he actually needed me to do is not email the school he's applying to and say he's not gay, which I wouldn't do anyways, and wouldn't have even considered doing that had he not told me. So paradoxically, I actually appreciate that he's being honest with me for once after dodging pretty much any question about serious stuff with his home life. He definitely has some trust issues, and I'd feel pretty crappy about myself if I just made them worse over something that actually wasn't that bad. So to me, it does matter if this is fairly benign, like exaggerating how many people are a part of the pre-law clubs he's president of. His application says around 500 members, which is true of the number of people on the email list, but only like 50 people show up to meetings. Man, I hope he's a real stickler over here. Or if it's worse than the standard selling yourself on the application. If it was something like lying about his competencies, then I'd have no part of that. I don't know if I'd go so far as to alert the schools he's applying to, but I would definitely break up with them. I don't know if lying about being gay is on that level, and I'm getting mixed messages. Yeah, I think so. Going back to the original comment, honestly, God, there's so many arguments you could make here. Yeah. You could kind of argue if he did what OP was just saying and he kind of just like did it on his own and didn't like implicate her by like, which ultimately, I mean, what's really going to happen to her? But like, if he didn't like ask her to be part of the lie, then that is better. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he definitely could have gone. My thing though is like the law school and your morality, because honestly, this feels like a test of what kind of career you're gonna have.
Dude, that is so true.
To do this on an application to get into a school and you get in, like it's kind of corrupted.
Yeah.
And that's gonna follow you.
It is.
It will, and it'll show up in other ways.
It's bad karma for sure.
It'll definitely come up in different ways. So
yeah. God, this is so
Yikes.
crazy. Another comment comes from Malanine. Is it unfair to say that he didn't get into an Ivy League for undergrad because he is always trying to find a way around doing the actual work? Wow, that's funny. OP, yes. He showed me in his college applications when I told him it was pretty crappy to say that he got denied from Ivy Leagues because he was Asian. He was made valedictorian at his high school, made International Science and Engineering Fair, scored well on the American Invitational Math exam, but not well enough to qualify for the United States of America Mathematical Olympiad. He had a perfect ACT and SAT, everything else you generally expect from someone that gets accepted into an Ivy League, club leadership, community service, athletics, etc. His essays were good and remind me of the papers we write now for our third year of college. He did admit that he was a little socially awkward before coming to college, so maybe he flubbed the interview, but it's hard to imagine that he messed it up that badly compared to the weight of everything else on his application.
I'm seeing a few things that he's missing to get in, but what do you see from this, from everything that we read so far, like why this school has him on the wait list and doesn't apply him in?
Yeah, I mean, probably my gut take on what's happening here is that his application looks super good, but might not be all the way up to like the top 0.000000001%. I mean, like, I don't really know. I was a college dropout, so I don't really know like what exactly it takes at that level. But I have to imagine that like everyone's got like, you can only get a perfect SAT score. You can't go above the limit, right? And that's what it seems like a lot of people are, they're basically competing for and in the same stuff. So I could see like thousands of applications where they're all the club presidents, the perfect SAT scores.
Oh yeah.
And then at that point, what do you have to differentiate yourself with? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Being gay.
Being gay. Woo!
Dang, that is such a good point. But like, so I guess what would have made him, this is what I'm seeing that's different. The reason why that one chick got in was, one, I think she just had the money for it.
I think, yes. I think that's in that case why that happened.
And then two, maybe like little things like, I mean, he said he was socially awkward. If you're that smart, like not saying you can't be smart and like perfectly social, but like you're more mathematically or, you know.
You might be a little, like he said it himself, he might be a little bit socially awkward and not be like the charismatic, like
you're just thinking a whole nother level than everybody else.
Yeah. And so honestly, when everyone has the same literally perfect application, what else do they have to judge people on but the interview? And they're like, well, this person seemed like I left inspired. Like I just went to a TED Talk and this guy like was kind of awkward and didn't really compel me. They'll probably use that.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, they got to use something.
They got to have the best of the best.
Yeah. And like in one sense, you kind of can't blame them to a degree because it's like, I'm sure so many of these applicants seem exactly the same on paper and probably in their interviews and everything too. Like they're probably so freaking similar.
Yeah.
You can only get perfect SAT score. I don't know. Maybe if people who have gone to big colleges or maybe in admissions, please educate us on this because I am truly clueless. I'm just pulling guesses out of my wazoo. But Riley, you want to know a fact, Riley?
I think you have something for me.
A fat, juicy update. Let's sip the tea. Thanks everyone for the advice. Both of us were busy with finals, so we agreed not to talk about it until we were finished. And most of our time together was just studying anyways. After our last finals yesterday, we sat down and we talked. He said that he wasn't going to put that on his application and that I didn't need to do anything like take any pictures down. Okay, so he's decided not to do it. There we go. He apologized and said that he was in the wrong to prioritize our relationship below something that would only give him a marginal advantage if there's any advantage at all. We've been dating for 2 years and he thinks that there's real potential for us to be the rest of our lives type of thing. That should have taken priority.
Okay.
So that was good.
He sees the future.
He does. Then I started asking him some questions along the lines of what I saw commenters say, and he was confused and then got angry. He correctly guessed that I'd posted on Reddit about it. He was really unhappy about that, but he said he'd pretend like that didn't happen as long as I didn't do it again. So I guess this is my last time posting here. Oh, wait. Wait, is she doing this update after he was like, just don't post again? Oh my God. He said no to pretty much everything commenters suggested. Therapy, cutting contacts with his parents, but he did say that if there was a situation where he needed to choose between having a relationship with his parents parents and having a relationship with me, he would choose me.
Yo.
That is big. That is big.
That changes
big.
a lot of things.
Wow.
Like his determination. Yeah. Whoa.
It wasn't everything I was hoping for, but it's a good start, and I'm hoping that I don't have to go through this again in the future. Wow. Okay. I think that's the end of the story there, right?
Yeah.
So, oh goodness. Wow. There's just like so many things to unpack with this story, but to pick one thing to choose and focus on, it sounds like, we talked about in the beginning of like, hey, maybe not on him lying on his application, but like, let's say if he was like, hey, I have to like fly and live somewhere for a year in order to get into this university that will change my life and will like be long distance or something. That's like a case of like, oh, this relationship might not be forever, like you said, but my career is forever, and like me being able to get opportunities for myself and like my future family and my parents and whatever else. So I feel like it's fair in certain instances to prioritize, like if he's like, hey, I have to live somewhere and we have to be long distance for a year.
Yeah.
That to me is with conversation and with, trying to like work it out, a reasonable thing to bring to the table to discuss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this one was, just such a weird one.
Yeah. And honestly,
to bring
like,
to the table.
Like his mom, I feel like was like very harsh on him. And like, that's the weight why he was willing to do all of this.
Yes.
But like, he's smart. He's a smart kid. Like he's going to be fine with whatever he chooses or does.
Yes.
And I think now he's seeing that and it's good now. Like he sees a future with her and he's like, I don't want to give up this relationship.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good for him.
My hope is that him choosing his girlfriend and, potentially like future wife over his parents, to me is saying maybe one day he'll also choose his own happiness.
Wow.
Over like just going to the school his parents want him to go to and all that. But I totally empathize with your parents being like just on your neck, keeping the boot on you and being like, listen, what are you doing? And just constantly having to just being harassed constantly and not wanting to deal with that. But dude, what a crazy one.
That is super crazy.
Riley, you brought a good, this is a different flavor.
This is a different
which
flavor.
Would think is a good one for the OK fam.
This is pretty good. I hope you guys are enjoying all these that I'm finding, but
I just read a bunch of comments being like, Riley is finding some crazy bangers because hey, can we get we love big protein in the comment section? Can you flood the comment section with love for our boy? Do it now.
Stop it.
Do it now.
I do have something for you, though.
What?
Another story.
Let's do it. A man-child proposed to me, and I want to dump him. Am I the a-hole? And Riley, do we think that this is a-hole behavior? He's a man-child.
I don't know. It sounds like a plot. I think you should go for it and then write a book about it and then divorce him, write another book about it.
Whoa.
And get that bag.
Dude, honestly, getting the bag, that's the name of the game.
Get in that bag.
Like, come on now.
That's the play. Always the play.
Yeah. And this one comes from r/OKOPshow. So shout out to UOP. If you want to submit your story and have it read, go to r/OKOPshow or call us at 440-508-6567. Send your stories. We love reading them. But Riley, there's only one way to find out what happens in this story. Spill that tea! So, OKOP subreddit member, Fluffix Starshine says, great name. Hi, Sam and John. Hi.
Hi, I'm not Sam.
Hey. Put some respect on Riley. Say hi to Riley next time, okay? I, 40s female, don't post on Reddit a lot. Apologies for format and editing, but after listening to the 10-hour video, it reminded me of my ex. By the way, guys, Riley put together the 10-hour video, and every time he mentioned it, he's like, no, 10 hours and 38 minutes.
Dude, it was so fucking long. It took me 6 hours to export it. And then like another 2 hours to upload it. It was just a fun idea. And then they both looked at me and I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to do it now.
Bro, Riley's trauma. This is the trauma that we've given Riley.
I'm glad you listened to it.
See, the people love it.
I did it for you guys.
Oh, God. Oh, I love it. I was reminded in the particular story of an original poster, an OP, living with a man-child. This is from the early 2000s, so there are probably more stories, but most are probably lost. due to time. I was in my 20s and taking time off of college after dropping out for health reasons. I was dealing with depression after the health scare, and I had confided to the doctor that I might be gay. Wow.
You tell your doctor that?
I mean, I guess that's a cool doctor if you're like, doc, you know who I like?
Girls.
Women. And I'm a woman. She said, oh, and I was too young to know that. And it was a phase that I would grow out of and to try dating more. Damn. I thought we had like this world-class doctor who's just going to be, I thought like OP was like, wow, I feel so close to my doctor. Like I can just like tell him this. And then they're like, nah.
She might have thought you were like coming on to her and she was like,
oh, jeez. Come on, doc. Be a better doctor. Use ZocDoc because that's who rocks with OKOP. Use them, actually. They support the show, so use them. They support us.
They're super fun.
Anywho, it would help if I found the right guy and it might cure my depression.
Yes. Knight in shining armor.
Doctor, this is terrible advice. Stick to eat an apple a day, doc. Okay, let's stick to that. Enter the Manchild.
Ooh.
We met on MySpace. Yes, I am old. For a one-night stand and ended up getting snowed in at his place, which happened to be his parents' place. That's awkward. Met his dad while naked under his blanket when he brought breakfast to him.
What?
Dang.
What?
OP just drops the craziest facts like they're nothing.
Okay, I want to talk about the dad bringing breakfast into him.
Oh my God.
That's weird. My dad would never do that.
Right? So wait, the dad brought breakfast to them in bed.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Where is it?
Oh, red flag alert. The dad was cool, made me coffee, and offered to let me stay until the snow got cleared out. I mean, at least he's chill.
Yeah, that's cool.
Weird, but chill. He proposed to me on the second date.
He ain't wasted no time.
What? I laughed thinking it was a joke, as it should be. He was upset because he was serious. Oh, God.
Did he have a ring?
That's a great question.
He's ready.
Oh my God, I'm flabbergasted.
Once the snow got melted, he went and bought a ring.
God. He was only 20. I know, I was a cradle robber. I guess because she was in her...
She was in her 20s.
In her 20s? Okay.
No, you had to be like your age now to be a cradle robber.
I said it was too soon, which is the understatement of the century. We moved in together and OMG, he had no life skills. Wait, they moved in together? Oh, OP.
You should have known that when his dad gave him breakfast. What is happening?
I wonder. Hold on.
Was he hot?
Hold on.
Did he have a big dong? Oh, here it comes. Okay, what do you got?
Tin hat conspiracy. The dad wants this kid to get out of his place.
Yo.
The dad is like, listen, you go out there, try and date women. I will do whatever you need to do. I will bring them breakfast. I will do whatever. I will aid you in finding a woman to immediately marry and get the heck out of my house.
Dude, that's 40 chess right there.
Dude, I'm just saying. I mean, put in the comments. It seems, look, tinfoil hat, but it seems plausible.
Yeah.
It seems plausible. I'll put the hat down. But y'all, maybe. To say he couldn't cook, he didn't know how to boil water for a craft dinner, and even melted an enamel-sided tea kettle to the stove. How do you do that? How is that possible?
What? We need to look this up.
Has anyone melted an enamel? Oh, dude, you have to you have to boil that thing for
got to be hot.
like a day for 15 years on the stove. Wow. So to boil the enamel off of a tea kettle, I mean, you probably have to have that thing on full blast for like a day at least. That's crazy. He didn't know how to do his own laundry or how to clean around the house.
Yeah, the dad really wanted him gone.
Yup. He had OCD, self-diagnosed, and gotta love that little side comment from OP. I would always go back to make sure the car door was locked, drive home from work at lunch to make sure the door was locked and that the stove was off. Oh, the sweet irony with that teapot. Call to confirm reservations 2 to 3 times the day of to make sure the time was right. He had an eating disorder, which I get and would have been fine with if he admitted it and would seek help. But he was still in the denial phase. So anytime we ate dinner, cooked at home or out, he'd lock himself in the bathroom and it just never stayed down.
Oh, dang.
Oh my goodness gracious. But he could eat junk food like Little Debbie, that was his favorite, all day. The back of his car was full of boxes that he was trying to hide from me and Mountain Dew cans.
Dang.
I totally feel for this guy, but gosh dang it, if this isn't the weirdest assortment of things that a human has that I've ever seen in my life.
That's America for you.
For real, this man is America. This man is Florida. I'm from Florida. When I tried breaking up with him, he threatened to hurt himself.
Whoa.
Goodness. So I always chickened out of it. We ended up being together for about 3 years, even living in my parents' house together after I lost my job and we couldn't pay the rent. He was not big into nerd things like reading or video games, but would play Madden NFL, WE Wrestling, and GTA all the time. He loved the game Bully when it came out.
On the PS2. Yep.
Oh, I've never heard of that game before.
Yeah. It's like it was like big on the PS2 and whatever.
Damn.
These are PS2 games because she was on MySpace.
All right. This is back in the day.
You should know.
I did have a PS2.
Actually, this just lets you know that he is actually Gen Z and not really that old.
Well, are you ready for this? I had a PS1. One. Uno. I'm talking back in the day, dude. And that was it.
Huh.
No, I didn't get a PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2 was the most sold console.
PlayStation 1 and then I can't remember now, actually. He did eventually start reading because I was into Harry Potter and he saw one of the movies and wanted to know more of the story. All of the movies weren't out yet. Not all of the books were out either at that point. I remember his mom thanking me for getting him to read more.
Aw.
That's good.
You rubbed off on him.
For real. More ways than one. He was about 6 months younger than my little brother. I know I heard all of the cougar jokes, robbing the cradle jokes, etc., and would often say things like he wanted to punch him for talking nerd stuff like Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I need to take a break. Ever since Sophia has gotten here, this is the third story that I've heard of D&D. Have we heard D&D since she's gotten here?
Maybe. I mean, you've heard all the stories, so I don't know.
Okay, no, this never happened until she came in here. I don't know what happened.
So she's infecting OKOP with D&D related stories.
Yeah,
she's just like a magnet for it.
Every story that I've read somehow has D&D involved in it.
Damn, okay. I don't know, dude.
Sorry, I had to just let that know.
It got to the point that it was like having two brothers, and the biological one was the less annoying of the two. I went to visit my college roommate when she had a baby, and he got upset that I was going out of state and accused me of cheating on him. He knew that I questioned my sexuality with my therapist and that I was going to visit the roommate to sleep with her. Oh, wait a second. Actually, it sounds like she was cheating. I could be wrong.
She went to go visit her roommate. So her roommate just had a baby and she was going to go visit the baby, but he thought he was going to go visit her to hook up with her. But she was just going to go there to see her baby.
Maybe it's inferring that like he thinks that she's going to sleep with her.
He knew he knew that I was questioning. He knew like she thought she was gay and he thought that he was going to go over there to cheat on her.
Right.
Cheat on him.
So he broke up with me over text message while I was away, saying he couldn't fully trust me. Wow.
Dude, that does not seem like a good play on his part because she's doing a lot for you, buddy.
Yeah, for real. 6 months later, his new girlfriend contacted me on Facebook. She looked just like me. Same eyes and hair, younger and skinnier, with her name the reverse of mine. Think Mary Grace and Grace Mary. How? How is that possible? She wanted to thank me for leaving him so they could be together and that they're going to get married.
Oh, that usually when girls like that reach out, they're like, this was a horrible idea.
Help me.
Why would she say that?
I am flabbergasted. More than 10 years after the breakup, and I no longer date men. I guess he was right about that, even if not about my old roommate. So OP that was not going to do that.
Yeah.
I still get asked by my family whatever happened to him during the holidays. My auntie says he was the nicest boy. I don't know about that. And I still miss the cat that we had together. I think I stayed with him so long because of her. Oh my gosh. My advice to young folks out there, keep your one night stands to one night. not 3 years, I guess. Make sure your roommate knows how to boil water before moving in. And if your psychiatrist tells you that being gay is just a phase, you'll grow out of it, find a new psychiatrist. Yes, it'll save you a lot of pain in the end.
Wow.
Okay. Wow, what a story. OP, thank you for submitting, and you're part of the OK fam. So we love hearing that. Great advice to all of our youngsters in the OK fam as well. So I guess the question from the very beginning, was OP the a-hole for basically, I mean, you know, she didn't break it off, but, you know, bowing out of the relationship and not trying to keep it together.
Nah, this guy wasn't worth it. And also, like, you don't like guys, so why be with one?
Like, what are we doing here? Yeah, it didn't make any sense to stay together with him. Here's another question, though.
Okay.
Should OP warn like Grace Mary or the new wife to be?
Nah.
Stay out of it, right?
Let her figure it out.
Let her figure it out. It's
look.
out of your hands at that point. And that was like six months after they
and also
split,
like if she looked like, what kind of circumstance would OP have to be in for you to think it's okay to reach out to the new girlfriend?
I think probably the one where it's like more clear cut is that the new girlfriend is in danger because of the type of person he is. If that's the case, then it's like, oh, I have to warn her. I know. But other than that, like this it's not quite that scenario. Although he seems like just not all together and has some things that he should probably work through and probably find his own quality psychiatrist and therapist to work through on. It's ultimately, I would say, not really OP's responsibility. It's not her job.
You good, girl.
But OP, thank you so much for being part of the OK fam.
For opening up and blessing us with the story.
Yeah, and sending us your deals. Guys, we love it. Again, if you want to submit your own story, go to r/OKOP show.
If you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you and see you tomorrow.